Wow, look at this thing. I have not been excited to do a review like this in a while. This thing is just absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. Jeez. It matches the Corvette perfectly. I love that color. Oh. This thing sounds incredible. Sound. Good afternoon, everybody. It's your lovable, friendly neighborhood Dan guy on a 2015 Yamaha Stryker. It's a 80 cubic inch, which equivalents to be about 1300 cc's, massive bike, you know. And this isn't even the big boy one. There's the Yamaha has another one that's a little bit bigger than this. I forget the name. It's not coming to me right now. We got a bridge coming up. Let's give this thing a little clearing pipes, if you know what I mean. Glorious. What a sound, man. You know, for such a big bike, it does have pretty decent brakes. One of the best sounding bikes I've ridden in a while. And I'm a sport bike guy. I kind of prefer the sound of an inline 4 versus a muscly chopper engine, we'll call it. Come on! All right, let's give it the beans. She's not slow. I'll give her that. Surprisingly enough, this 80 cubic inch has quite a bit of pull and torque. You think to yourself, Dan, 80 cubic inches? That sounds massive, and it's not. It's not small. You know, the Hayabusa features a 1300 cc engine as well. But you have to remember, this is a massive V-twin, so it's got a lot of torque, but the horsepower doesn't peak out quite as well as an inline does. The first thing you notice about this bike is the size. The footprint on it is very demanding. The wheelbase is very long. You cannot fit this in your average pickup truck if you needed to. And it means long sweeping turns, but it handles very similar to that of my Magna. Of course, it's a little bit more top heavy than the Magna is because you're sitting up a little bit higher than the Magna is. It's comfortable. Oh my gosh. Maybe it's because I've been so used to riding my sport bikes for so long that I kind of lost the aspect of what's comfortable. But you stretch out on this thing. You really lean back because of the position of the bars. You know, it's not super upright. You don't look like a dork. Now, despite the fact that the footprint feels big, it's noticeably large. It goes into turns quite well. All right, now let's put it through its pace a little bit on some slightly windy roads. Now, despite the fact that it's heavy, it seems to handle its weight quite well. One thing I've always liked about Japanese cruisers, I'll list this under a cruiser rather than a chopper, and how much more balanced these bikes are than most of the bigger cruisers and choppers that are American made. Most of the Harleys I've ridden always tend to be super top heavy because the weight is all in the head of the cylinders, air cooled. Obviously a lot of that weight has to be up there for the cooling fins, solid steel construction. For these aluminum engines, they save a lot on weight and they put them really down low so the center of gravity is really low. I think that makes the ride a lot more enjoyable and easier for shorter people like me, and this bike certainly features that. I'm not including the Harley police bike in that. That's one of the most properly balanced Harleys in the world. Now, obviously, this bike isn't meant for touring the mountains or touring in general. This is a cool Sunday cruiser, something I wouldn't mind riding to the store and back, maybe a couple-hour trips. But I can see how the loud pipes would get rather annoying after longer than 3 or 4 hours rides. coming off the H2, that definitely has a good bit of torque. I'm going to take back what I said. I'm going to classify this as a modern chopper. And modern choppers really kind of come in very strange sizes. And what do I mean by modern chopper? Look at like the Honda Fury. You know, it has the long rake and it has the interesting parts. Like, it has the classiness and the styling of a chopper. But it kind of defeats the purpose of it coming from the factory like that, don't you think? That might just be my opinion, but buying a factory chopper or bobber really doesn't do it for me. Maybe it's just because I don't like the way the Honda Fury looks in general, but I'd prefer to make it something kind of my own. This has got the sound of a chopper, the look of a chopper, and even the feel. I mean, it's not an iron horse. It'll never be an iron horse. It'll never be featured in an OCC. Jesse James has not touched this bike. It's not a chopper. I get it, but it's damn close. I'll give you that. And man, does it sound glorious. It's got a pretty nice suspension. It's got a comfy seat. It's got usable controls. And it's not uncomfortable to ride in any sense. Plus, it's got the reliability of being a Japanese import. And that's one of my favorite things about Japanese cruisers, is that you have the reliability and the power out of a much smaller package. You think like Harley and Iron Horse choppers have a massive engine. And I'm not saying that a 1300 is small by any sense of the word compared to some of these 1800 and 2000 cc engines. It's pretty convenient. Most Harleys come with that, what, the 103? I always hate the argument that Harley riders make, though, is that it'll never be a Harley. It's like, that's why we bought a Yamaha. I also want to tell you guys that I'm trying to change up a little bit what I'm doing with my reviews. I'm trying to make them a little bit, not I don't want to say different, but classier. I don't know. More efficient. We'll go with the word more efficient. What a pleasant lean angle this thing has. Even at a bigger bike with a long rake and a low profile, it still leans quite well. Definitely better than the Magna. And I always like to compare bikes to the Magna because the Magna is the most uncomfortable, unuseful bike in the world. It lacks a lot of modern things like rideability, suspension. Now, one thing that might not surprise you is that I struggle to flat foot. I can flat foot, but it's not a solid flat foot. It's a very awkward in-between dance between flat foot and tippy toe. It's like, I can flat foot if I put my feet kind of in, but then you lose that like rigidity of being stable. So it's almost better to tippy toe it. Short guy problems, what can I tell you? I have to say though, the styling on this bike is just gorgeous compared to the Fury, and I'm just using that as an example. Triumph makes that bobber, right? I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't like that very much because the whole idea of having a bobber is to build it yourself. Am I wrong? I thought the whole point of having a bobber is to customize it and make your own. Like, you take away the amenities. You take away everything that's not required or necessary. Ooh, we got a GSXS? What I like about bobbers is that you take away the things that aren't required. You take away the things that aren't absolutely necessary for that bike to run and perform like a bike. Oh, you can feel that back tire spin a little bit. This thing definitely has some giddy up. I mean, it's no Harley Breakout. I'd love to be able to compare this thing to a Harley Breakout. It's just not happening. Harley Breakout's probably my second favorite Harley that's ever made, followed by the Porsche-driven Night Rod, V-Rod. But I tell you what, I don't think either one of those bikes look as good as this bike. Well, the Breakout, if you do a little bit of work to the Breakout, I think the Breakout looks really, really good. Can't get over the absolute sound. It's pure ecstasy. I'm a sucker for a V-twin. I love my Jap bikes. I love my inline fours. But damn, does a V-twin sound so good. Now we're gonna try something that I don't really want to try. Backing up. So I'm gonna park in a way that I have to back up. Oh, done with ease. Done with is easier than backing up my H2. And one thing that I don't like about sport bikes is at low speeds, they're very top heavy. It's kind of hard to maneuver them, but this thing actually feels very planted at a lower speed. Sorry to wake this docile neighborhood up. Wake up! Oh yeah, I don't think that'll ever get old. I'm also incredibly impressed with the balance of this engine. My V4 Magna vibrates like it's job. I don't know how else to describe it. My V4 Magna shakes and vibrates like Ellen DeGeneres' nightstand, all right? But this, on the other hand, for such a massive V-twin engine is so smooth. You can tell that Yamaha spent a lot of time with counterbalancing this engine. I don't like to give Yamaha much, but I'll give Yamaha this. Their engines are some of the best. I'm not a huge fan of the crossplane. I really am not. It sounds amazing. The R1 shakes at low RPMs like Michael J. Fox with an Etch-a-Sketch. I'll tell you what, this thing is significantly more stable than an R1 at low RPMs. At the end of the day, man, I'm a motorcycle guy. I'm not brand specific. I'm not brand loyal. I'm not a domestic or import guy. I like all vehicles based on their characters and their tributes, not where they originate from. I'm just saying, maybe sometimes atomic bombs actually work. I don't feel like I'd ever need a kidney belt. You know, a lot of Harley riders have kidney problems in their late 80s after they've been riding Harleys for so long because of how bad they vibrate, especially at stoplights. You know, they see you just sit there and jiggle, 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 jiggle. But this thing is so poised, I'm not even struggling a little bit. You know, it's got a lot of great qualities, but definitely the styling and the attitude of this bike, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Normally I choose the bikes at WOW. WOW wants me to start asking you guys what bikes that they have to review just because they want more interactions between them and you guys. But they came to me and said that they want me to review this bike. And when they showed me that they had this bike, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. I've been wanting to review one of these, or at least ride one for a long time. So this is like a little mini dream come true. If I had this bike, blinker delete, saddlebags, because I'm into that. I love saddlebags. The only reason I haven't put them on the Magna yet is because I can't figure out a way to mount them. I would black out the wheels. I think the amount of chrome on this bike is just enough. I hate chrome. I genuinely despise chrome because chrome is so... I'm a cut in front of all these people. I'm a cut in front of all you guys. You guys thought you were going to be behind the white bus. Pranked. You just got pranked. Pranked. Usually you have a lot of low end torque and then they peter out mid-range. But this is very strong and consistent. It's very gradual. Oh, prime bike. Prime rib. We have a delicious prime rib and it's known as a Yamaha Stryker. Before you could only enjoy Yamaha Stryker steaks at Stryker Tower, but now WOW carries all Stryker brand steaks. Anybody get that reference? A little obscure? Okay. If I had a big enough garage, I'd have a million bikes, right? But if I had to choose 10 bikes, this would definitely be on my list of my top 10. So maybe lower it a little bit. Oh, it'd be perfect. Drop it like a quarter, half an inch drop. This thing would be, oh, just mwah for me. What I'd like to start doing is giving these bikes a rating based on how I feel about them. I need to come up with some sort of scale, some sort of system where I can properly display how I feel about the bikes as far as rideability, performance, comfortability, and a couple other things. Oh my god, it's a dog. Hello, dog. Yes, I am Dan. Can I talk to you? Okay, no, it's cool.